What is good, everybody? Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me today. Some sound experiments, little taste of what we'll be getting into today here with this fun gear. But I hope you're all doing well. Thank you today. Turn all that off. How are you all? Welcome and happy Monday. So happy to be here with you all today. As usual, we are here live every single Monday, so I do thank you all for joining me here today in my home studio. Of course, we're usually making some music. We're usually talking about some news topics, perhaps, things that are happening in music and technology, in the music industry in general. Today we're going to be focusing more on music making because I've been having a lot of fun with these devices here. Arturia Minilab, hologram Microcosm, and the Roland S1, backed by popular demand. I think you all had fun, or I think we were all having fun last week when I pulled this thing out for the first time, this tiny little synth that is quite powerful. So we'll do some sound experimenting. I've kind of been finding my way back to the Minilab for one reason or another, and I just posted a video this morning, a new cozy, chill, lo-fi beat with the Minilab. And judging by the poll I'm looking at right now, 50% of you saw the video I posted this morning, and 50% of you did not see the video I posted this morning. It's alarming, chat. It's highly alarming. Just kidding. But if you would like to watch that new video I dropped, just some chill music for your Monday. If you need a little inspiration, if you need a little motivation, I think this video, the vibe of this video will do it for you. So I'm going to paste that link in the chat. Y'all can open it in a new tab or just bookmark it for later. Thank you for wishing me a happy Monday, everybody. Creo says, I like these early morning streams on a Monday. I think it's a great way to kick off the week. For me, it's a connection to you all, the outside world, the community that keeps this whole thing going. It makes me feel not so alone in all of this, to be honest. So thank you for joining me here on a Monday. I want to share as much as I can with you all, and the streams are about 1,000 times better than the YouTube comments, like the Q&A that happens in the YouTube comments, because here we can chat and we can talk about things in real time versus, you know, having a conversation back and forth through comments when sometimes the tone and the meaning of certain questions doesn't always come through in that way. So I like streaming is what I'm trying to say. Good morning to you, Kayla. Accent Noir trying to be a little cheeky with the it back. Okay, I get it. What's up, Ayotti? Nice to see you. Flint A makes a good point. It says Mondays suck when you're an orange cat. But think about how good the lasagna tastes, Flint A. Celestine Prof, good morning, my friend. That reverb on the S1, Toby, yes, 100%. Beautiful. And then combine that with the space on the Microcosm, it's pretty dope. Hello, Tenley, how are you? Thank you for being here. Leah says, I watched a stream of yours a few years ago. Bring back the MIDI wheel. I think I still have the MIDI. The MIDI wheel might have met a dark fate. But I do think it was fun. Maybe we should bring it back. Maybe you're right. We don't really get that. I kind of like scolded enough people that people don't really just jump into chat and say, what MIDI controller do I buy anymore? I think that's a good thing. Do you agree, chat? I think that is a good thing. What's up, Blossom? Nice to see you. Kyle, hello. Thank you for being here. Last Samurai, what is good? Blossom says, I don't know about like music news so much or any kind of news, so is the Arturia keyboard new? No, the Arturia keyboard's been around for about 2 years. I think it dropped in October of 2022. So it's been around for a couple years now. So I'm actually doing a video where I'm revisiting it because I noticed an uptick in people watching my initial Minilab review. So I figured I would do like a 2 years later kind of updated review, if that makes sense. Do I like musicals? It depends on the musical. I'm not like a Broadway head, but I have been known to like a musical here and there. Get the MIDI wheel back. Okay, people want the MIDI wheel. I hear you. I hear you. A lot of love going around in the community. Celestine Prof says, good morning to Accent Noir. Saved all your music on Spotify into my own Spotify playlist. Look at that. Making connections in the community. We love to see it. Is that beer in my cup? No, no, no. I don't drink beer. Really. This is just water on a Monday morning. Have I ever played with the Monome stuff? I have not, but the Monome, Curtis, was one of my main inspirations for getting into controllers, because back in the day, that was like, whoa, what is this thing and what is going on? Oh, and you say, I'm having a lot of fun with my Norn's Shield. Yeah, the thing about the Monome stuff is I really don't want to get into the heavy Max MSP and programming side of things. I really like using these controllers that have all that work already done and that I can just get right into the music making, but they're still malleable and mappable enough to do cool things. But yeah, those are a huge inspiration. I just feel like if I bought a Monome or something from that product line, I would have to go be in a cabin in the woods for like 6 months just to learn the thing. What's up, King? Hopping on the lab, I see. Good stuff. Yes, yes, yes. I've been back on the lab grind these days. All right, I'm going to write a little pinned message here since 59% now did not see my vid posted this morning. You all are my community, my diehard viewers. If you all don't see my videos, I don't know who's going to see my videos. Did you watch my new video I posted today? All right, that's for a pinned chat. Also, if I may continue a rant from the other day, so the whole situation with the mouse, the Apple Magic Mouse, which we have ranted about in the past, you all know about this. The Apple Magic Mouse, which is like one of the worst designed products by Apple of all time, because here's your mouse, and when the battery dies, where do you plug it in? Oh, you plug it in here on the bottom, meaning you cannot use this mouse and charge it at the same time. Now, I do like this mouse. As it has grown older, the battery life has pretty much been going down, which is not terrible. I can always just go and charge it, right? But on Saturday, I was just working on some stuff on my computer, and it said battery low, but then immediately died. Now, if you don't give me any warning, we can't have that. So what did I do, chat? I bought this $11 mouse on Amazon. $11 plastic, much less good build quality on this thing. However, it is Bluetooth, and instead of having a charging port on the bottom, it has its charging port on the front, meaning that if this thing ever dies while I'm streaming, I can just plug it in. Ah. Ow. Too much gear. Too close. So that's where I'm at. We got two mouses now. We got two mice. We have two mice now. I got to back up. This is my first day trying this one, so I just want to give it a try for today. I'll still use the Apple one mostly because it's a better quality experience and you can like click around on it, but you know. You know how it goes. Beta Run, nice to see you. Thank you for jumping in today. Have you finished the track that you were making in your bedroom studio? That is a good question, Last Samurai. I don't know if I remember which track that is. Maybe that's the lo-fi beat I was making on BandLab on the iPad. I use that track for like a bit of background music and stuff. A lot of the music that you see me make on this channel, I don't necessarily always release, but I do actually use it. Like I'll use it in videos and stuff. Not everything warrants a full release, you know? It has its use case. Kind words, Celestine Prof. Your community is the bomb. I've met so many good friends and fellow producers here. Nice to know. Curtis says, wait, people actually use their gear and don't just endlessly mod and tinker? Maybe I'm the target audience for the scripting instruments. Yes. Speaking of like tinkering and fun instruments, let me bring up the Discord. Oh God, Discord's not open, which means it's gonna like download a bunch of updates before it even opens. What is with these apps? And like every time you open it, it's got to download 5 updates. Like, can we just do like a monthly basis instead of Discord? I had you open 2 seconds ago, and now you're downloading 6 updates. Oy. Native Instruments stuff is like that too. Every time I open up like Native Instruments Complete Control, it's like, we got to update. It's like, okay, if I do this every time, I'll never be able to make any music. All right, but anyway, if you don't know, we've got a great community Discord. Wait one moment. We've got a great community Discord that is available for channel members. If you're watching on mobile, you won't see this, but if you're watching on desktop, there is a join button below the video. And you can support the channel and get some things in return for yourself, like free sample packs, members only videos, members only behind the scenes stuff. And then I will remember that I need to plug in this camera or the camera's going to die, and that's very bad for the stream. Ay, ay, ay. Ah. Okay, saved. We were at 4% battery on the camera, but saved it. All right, anyway, my point is this is a very nice Discord to be a part of because we don't just talk about all music all the time. We got people sharing their food. Dungeon Master, oh, I'm not showing you. Dungeon Master with the watermelon margarita the other day, as well as making your own cheese, I heard. This is a dessert I had the other night. This is a baked Alaska, which is like an ice cream. This is like melted marshmallow over this. Melted marshmallow over some sesame ice cream and a matcha kind of cake at the bottom. And this cocktail was a crazy cocktail that includes hot sauce. Here, let me read the recipe. So each of the bartenders have their own like custom cocktail. So this one is called Caught in a Mosh. So it's got Japanese sake in it, as well as Lucky Cat White Ale, lime, house-made hot sauce, soy sauce, egg whites, lime bitters, orange bitters, contains fish sauce. Never had a drink with hot sauce in it, but that was very interesting. It was a fire in my chest, which we quite enjoy. But anyway, yes, you can see people sharing cool food and things like that here. Also, I really like the art and photography channel. Indie Rocker Girl sharing all kinds of art with us here, as well as we've got some very good photographers. Dungeon Master sharing these terrariums, which is intense. This is a bug I saw the other day. This was in response, of course, to Accent Noir, who has lots of beautiful photographs in here. These bug images are not easy to get at all, but Accent Noir did leave me some tips. I'm usually just taking them on my phone anyway, but I don't usually bring my big camera. But yeah, it's a really great community. People are sharing their music over here. People are talking about, we've got a Need Help channel. So Chris Drago was talking about trying to get a MIDI drum set up. So we were talking about that over the weekend. And then I will show you this in the Have You Heard section. Here we post like little news things or interesting things. But check this out, chat. I don't know anything about this instrument. I don't know the makers. I don't know anything. I'm not trying to just promote them, but I saw it and I thought it looks cool. This is called Chromaplane.
Instrument that connects you to the electromagnetic world.
What do we think of this? Also, where did chat go? Hold on, let me find my chat window.
The chromaplane is played using 2 pickup coils that detect the cloud of electromagnetic fields emitted from its surface. The voice of each field is an analog square wave oscillator. There are 10 of them.
So I think this is really cool. Usually this stuff kind of looks in like experimental and non-functional, but it looks like this is actually playable. ADR X-ray says Theremin 2.0. Yeah, that's immediately what I thought of, was a theremin. Actually, in the high school class that I'm teaching right now, one of the students randomly one day just brought a theremin to class. I was like, how do you... This is kind of cool too, tuning the oscillators with these screws. Curious to know how they will price this.
On the chromaplane, drawing lines is like making melodies.
I think this sort of like physical,
everything with this instrument, but you can do some
this physical interaction with the music is very cool. And then there's another technique that they show that I would love to experiment with. Where is it? Here. Like using gravity.
You can be very expressive.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things I like about this. I also love that it's just like this metal slab. It's like making music on this sheet of metal. I think that could make a good video. Curious to know what they price it at. They say it's coming to Kickstarter, I think.
And with simple
Let's see their website.
You can go very far in terms of sound possibilities.
Oh, they make a lot of stuff. See, like I look at this stuff, this modular stuff, and not interested. Not interested. But peace and love to them. A lot of people are very interested in this stuff and do very cool things with this stuff. This, on the other hand, a sheet of metal with very... Like, I like to look at an instrument. Like, when I look at a guitar, even if you never played guitar before, you can look at a guitar and be like, oh, I get it. It has strings, and you strum it, and you, like, push the strings down over here. I think more electronic instruments should be sort of taking cues from acoustic instruments. Not that we need to, like, make electronic instruments more simple. I mean, we should use the advent of technology to make things cool, but we also don't need to overcomplicate things. Especially if you're making an instrument. If you're making a if you're making like a module that's meant for like really intense sound design stuff, whatever. Put a bunch of patch stuff in it. Make it nice and complicated. But if you want to make an instrument, make an instrument. Like, make something that looks like I could approach it and make music with it and not have to just like plug in a bunch of wires and route a bunch of things and deal with a bunch of technological terms. You know what I mean? Me not interested in modulars either. It looks too messy for my brain. I agree. Where are all my Reason users in the chat? Reason users, I feel like that's the DAW for modular people. Because they take all the mess of like physical cables and patching and they put it into software. I've seen people plugging their plants into synths. Yes, Groove and DJ. That company is cool. What is that company called? I don't want to get it wrong. They make those little contact mics that people connect. Playtronica, is that what they're called? They make those little clip-on microphones that you can clip on to different plants and stuff. Now, I'm kind of not really interested in those because I feel like that's a little too gimmicky in my opinion. However, they have the Touch Me, which is like you can like make reactive touch stuff, which I think is cool. But I think this whole thing has just kind of been overdone, where they clip the things to the plant, and now when I touch the plant, oh, I'm gonna get copyright claimed for this because it's just like, how can we take a very simple thing like MIDI and make it more complicated? It's just like, it's interesting for a video, but when they make 500 videos or they sponsor a bunch of people to all do the same thing and make beats with cables attached to fruits and vegetables, it kind of becomes not interesting anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just converting it to MIDI. So it's not even doing anything like technologically that interesting. But it would be cool to do a interesting application with it. Like if the thing you were touching like had some significance, or you know, if it meant anything. Otherwise you could touch anything and send a MIDI signal. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little gimmicky. That being said, they have, what's so interesting about this company, I saw this device at a NAMM like 2 years ago or something.
And today I'm going to show to you how to create electronic dance music.
And we went back and forth and back and forth trying to, I was like, I really like this thing called Orbita.
I have this first ring that is
so the thing spins, you put these discs on it, the discs have colors which correspond to different things, like maybe notes. And then obviously the timing is done by spinning.
It's exactly the same.
And I think that's really cool. Could make for some good ambient music. I don't know why they're trying to demo it with dance music. I don't know.
The fun
but anyway, I went back and forth with like, I don't know if he's the founder or something of this company, not this guy. Like, I want to try Orbita, and it's like still not out. Soon it will be launched on Kickstarter. I mean, it's at some point you're already showing it. Let's get it out. So basically, there's an instrument on each different ring.
Now let's do the first and last track.
I don't know. I would love to experiment with this thing, but I've heard about it for a few years now, and I've still yet to see it come out or get my hands on one. They just kind of keep selling the plant stickers, which, with peace and love, I don't know what it's like to run a music tech company. But if I did run a music tech company, I would certainly not want my entire company's identity to be, oh, we're the people who make the plant stickers. Especially when I'm making cool stuff like the Orbita. What is this? IO lights. See, they do make all kinds of interesting stuff. It's just like the only thing I really ever see is people sticking things to plants. Peace and love. That's all I have to say on that. Whatever. They're cool. But I want to try the Orbita. But the chromoplane, that's what it makes me think of. I like new, interesting instruments. You know what I mean? I wonder if there could be strips. Sorry, I don't know how to read that. You could put on Orbita to make some Atmos or soundscapes at a slow rotation. Yeah, I'm sure you definitely could, and I'm sure it's also just sending MIDI messages, so whatever sound each one of those little chips is triggering, you probably have full control over. M&Ms, that's a good idea. I wonder if the color has to do with it, or if the color is just for the user, and if they have like some kind of chip inside of them that sends a message or something. What's up, Nefertiti Gold? Catching a midday stream while working? That's what it's all about. Work gang. Who's watching from the office, or who's watching from the work from home office? That's what I want to know. Basically, who's supposed to be working, but instead you're watching the stream? Because you're the real ones. Sound off. Unless your boss is in chat, then maybe don't. Krios. Look at all these workday watchers. What's up, K-Pez? Krios is on break. Got it. Yep, AOD working from home. We got people in the office. I'm supposed to be sleeping, says Old Gamer. No. You don't need to sleep. We got a stream going on here. Okay, lots of people tuning in during their workday. Hey, Vic's got a question here. In lo-fi, is it best, and by the way, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. In lo-fi, is it best to create melody before a drum beat? You can go any way you want. There's no specific order you need to go into. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's whatever you feel on that day. Do I feel like working on drums and rhythm, or do I feel like writing a melody first? Of course, starting with a different one, they have different implications. If I start with the melody, usually the next thing I want to get into is the drums and the rhythm to get a groove. Like, what is the feeling of this video? What is the feeling of this music? So drums plays an important role there, because you could take any melody. It could sound like a very sleepy, slow, chill melody, but if you put a more aggressive, more rockin' beat behind it, suddenly it changes the nature of the music. And then vice versa. So there's no hard set rules on that front. Music is endless, Toby. Bronson is almost at the end of the working day. We love to see it. And then Mentally's just finished working from home. Heck yeah. We got people just starting their day. We got people in the middle of their day. And we got people at the end of their day. No matter where you are, thank you for tuning in. Lo-fi is the best. Well, before you go to bed tonight, go to the pinned comment at the top of this chat and open up that lo-fi beat that I made today, that video that I posted today, and you'll be able to fall asleep very quickly. I think it's a very relaxing, inspiring beat. Maybe it'll inspire some lucid dreaming. All right, let me talk about one news article today, and then we will move on and do some music making. Sound like a plan, chat? If you don't know, or if you tuned in just now, remember, we are live every single Monday. Usually we're doing some music making, checking out some new gear, and also talking about the news. So real quick here, I want to talk about one quick article and get all your thoughts on it, because that's the whole point of us being here, so we can all have a conversation. The article I'm going to share with you all is from Billboard. I will copy the link and I will paste it in chat in case you want to check out the article in full on your own. And the article is titled, "With AI, anyone can make music, but does everyone want to make music?" I'm very interested in this question because, of course, this question keeps popping up in terms of AI. Like, oh, AI music generator, Suno, whatever. But also, we've had a lot of people that are making like MIDI controllers or other music software that's maybe not AI related, that their whole business model is anybody can make music with this thing. Like, this is a thing where anybody can make music on. And that is getting like a little tired because of this question. Does everyone want to make music? And for the people, like, who is the person that is just... It's like trying to find this audience of people that aren't like all of us here, where we're taking like steps and getting further and further into music and music production. But I think some companies imagine this person that's just like a regular office worker, not artistic at all, that they'll just have a device or an app that they can just make some quick beats during the day, and that's it. I think that audience is very, very tiny. I think if somebody gets a spark of inspiration like that, they'll use the very simple tool for a day, a week, or whatever, and then they'll go down some rabbit hole. They'll either get a DAW, they'll get some synth, or something. But they're not staying there very long. So I don't really like this whole premise of anybody can make music. Hey, you normal person on the train, pull out this app and make a beat on it, or something like that. So whatever. I feel like, so this is obviously existential for these AI companies, where their whole shtick is like, just type in some text and, you can make a song. It's like, oh, interesting, but that's not very rewarding, is it? So here's a quote from one executive in this space that says, it's a moment of magic when you first try a generative music platform. Then most people don't really have a use for it. Exactly. Here, let me zoom into this so it's bigger. Upstate Trash says, I've heard some people share some AI music and it's quite bad. Right. Like AI music, just like AI image generation or whatever, it could look good. It could be good. It could have a good result. But it does take some shaping. It's never going to be for like the casual user. Like a casual user that's just going to like generate an image or a song and be like, haha, that's cool. That's fun. That's it. That's the extent to what they do with it. They're not going to, that is where it becomes not like a tool, which is what AI should be utilized as. All right. Here's a quote from LifeScore co-founder, CTO, and Tom Gruber, who says, it's really easy to get investment in that sort of thing right now because everyone thinks that generative AI is going to change the whole world and there will be no human creators left. This is very, very scary. Very, very dystopian. Imagine going your whole life and never having watched like Blade Runner or any sci-fi movie. You know what I mean? But this is the whole thing. Like these companies that look like, oh, they make very fancy products or whatever. It's only the result of Silicon Valley investing and getting investments from big venture capitalists that think this is the future, which I think gives us the perception that a company is successful. You know what I mean? Dante says, with the quality of mainstream music today, it's clear that it's not a good idea to make music more accessible to everyone. I highly, highly disagree. Music should definitely be accessible to as many people that want to make it as possible. However, not everyone wants to make music. So these people are developing products under the assumption that a very large audience wants to make music in some semi-serious way. And that is definitely not the case. But the tools to make music should be as accessible as possible. More accessibility leads to better art. If it leads to more art, that's fine. But the more people making art, the more people making music, the more opportunities we have for great music. So just because it becomes a little more difficult for you to sift through and find music that you love does not mean it's a bad thing that people have access to the tools to make music. Fundamentally, access is good. And if you don't think access is good, then who do you think should have access? What do you think? I got to take a test? Oh, you can't use this DAW until you show me you're going to make good music? Who decides what the good music is? That's silly. I feel like it can be a cool representation of possible tools for people who already make music, but an everyday person, they'd probably get tired of it after a while. Yes, it becomes boring. All right. For whatever reason, you're not seeing an extreme level of adoption of these products yet among the everyday consumer, notes one founder of an AI music company who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Where's the 80 to 100 million users on this stuff? Yeah, it ain't popping off for sure. My hunch is no text-to-music platform will have decent retention figures yet. They keep saying yet. I just don't see a future where it's going to happen. But that's from Ed Newton Rex, who founded the AI music generation company JukeDeck. Has anybody used JukeDeck? And then worked at Stability AI. It's a moment of magic when you first try a generative music platform, then most people don't really have a use for it. So far, the most popular use for song generation tools appears to be making meme songs. You know it. Let's read that again. So, AI music generation. It's a moment of magic when you first try it, and then most people don't have a use for it. The most popular use is for making meme songs. That's literally what people will make it for. Just to have a quick laugh. It's not like people are making serious tunes. And even if this is my point. If you wanted to make serious tunes, you would start using serious tools. And the main part of making music is like doing self-expression, expressing yourself. So just typing in a few lines of text is not going to be a very gratifying experience for anybody that wants to be an artist. Plain and simple. All right, so while there are hundreds of companies working on generative AI music technology, sorry, my new mouse, I keep clicking the wrong button. The two that have generated the most headlines are Suno and Udio. Has anybody used either of those? The former recently announced that 10 million users have tested it out in 8 months, while the latter told Bloomberg that 600,000 people tried its song generation product within the first 2 weeks. Neither company said how many of those testers became regular users. This is very telling. So companies like Suno and Udio, they'll gladly tell you that 10 million users tested our product in 8 months, or the other one says 600,000 people tried the song generation tools. What they won't tell you is how many people are still using these tools and being regular users. Why would they not want to tell you how many people are still using it? Probably because it's very hard to make an investment in a company where 10 million people tried your product and what do you think? 100,000 people are still using it? Maybe less? I'm trying to think charitably with those numbers. Who becomes a regular user? Josh says, people used to freak out and still do about sampling in music. I don't think AI is a problem because ultimately making music is expressing what you want. The input doesn't matter much to me. Yeah, it's about expressing what you want. I'm not even arguing on that front. I'm just arguing about these products catching on. In the way that, I use ChatGPT to help organize my thoughts or to make a plan or an outline, that's really, really helpful to me. What tasks do I do in music that would be really helpful to me that I need help with? I use Isotope RX for noise cleanup on vocal recordings and mic recordings and things like that. That works really well. That's a use of AI that makes my life easier. But I'm not like, AI, write this melody for me. You know what I mean? And I don't think like an author would be like, hey, AI, can you write this book for me? Can you write this story for me? I just don't, it's not connecting. It's like the technology can do this thing, but do people want to use it to do that thing, you know? My first reaction to AI music is, wow, that's not half bad. My second reaction, wow, that all sounds the same. You see this with the image generation stuff too. Like, it's pretty easy to tell when an image is AI generated because it has a certain sheen to it. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Miss Nadia? Nice to see you today. Welcome, welcome. DZMO says, I've used Suno a ton, and because of demotivation, I never use it anymore. Can you tell me more about that? What do you mean by demotivation? Did you find something particularly like not motivating about the product or something? I feel like it's probably like a junk food scenario, you know? Like, I could sit around and eat potato chips and Cheetos like all day. Literally, I could do that. But I end up feeling gross after. Not even like mentally. Physically, I feel gross. It's like empty calories, you know what I mean? So if you're spending a lot of time writing or generating AI music, I imagine that's going to feel like empty calories after a while. Using AI to help you brainstorm over a given set of musical rules can be incredibly helpful. Definitely. I definitely agree. For sure. Yeah, there's lots of tools that are not AI that help you do that too. You can do a lot of like resampling. You can do a lot of experimental techniques to help you break some rules. I mean, sampling at its core, if you take a song and you sample it and you've got a major chord, but you want to sample that and make a full chord sequence out of it. That's how we end up with some of the tonalities that we get. You never notice that a lot of house music's got that major chord thing going on and it never goes to that sixth minor chord? I think a lot of it comes from that gear limitation. So it's a similar vibe. Yeah, you totally hit the nail on the head with saying it feels super gross. Yeah. And I'm not even talking about passing judgment when I say it feels gross. I'm talking about just straight up empty calories. Much like using circle of fifths or modes helps provide direction and inspiration, it's a little different because when you understand the circle of fifths and when you understand modes, you're like mentally utilizing this system. That's kind of different than something generating a musical idea for you. Sure, it can like spark inspiration. I'm not debating that, but that's not the same thing as you having actual knowledge. It's closer to like experimental stuff. It's closer to like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, you know? All right, let's continue with the article. So here they're comparing it to ChatGPT, which was estimated to gain 100 million weekly users within 2 months. I don't know if these generative music AI companies wanted to compare themselves to ChatGPT. I don't know if they were using like a similar number or a similar rate, but I think that's insane. A language model versus generative music is not the same thing at all. But it just goes to show you how dumb these how dumb these Silicon Valley investors are. Like that they will just maybe it's not even that they're dumb. Maybe it's just that they have way too much money to invest in dumb stuff and just take a chance, like take a gamble. In spite of all of the, in spite of all of the cultural cues that tell you, maybe this is not going to take off the way you think it is. But of course, they've all been affirmed by random other bets that they've made that have worked out. So I think that leads them to making a lot of silly investments. And if they have enough money, why not? I'll bet some money on black. I'll bet some money on red. I'll bet some money on even, some on odd. I'm going to strike. I'm going to win on one of those. And as long as I win big on one of those, it doesn't matter that I lost money on the other three. You know what I mean? I fear a lot of jobs will be replaced by AI. Scary thought. Yeah, the only problem is, technology in our culture and our society is going to continue to grow. We shouldn't hold back technology just so that we can maintain a workforce. Instead, we should find a way that people can support themselves, that it's not tied to labor. If we could live in a great society where, nobody has to work in a factory, where nobody has to do some of these physically demanding jobs, that's actually a very great future. Nobody has to work in a coal mine, That's great. However, if you worked in a coal mine your whole life and that's your only job and somebody says, no, you can't work in a coal mine anymore because of the environment, be like, okay, but what am I supposed to do for work now? Like, are you going to pay me? In my mind, yes, that's the easy answer. If your job is replaced by technology, you are entitled to compensation. Call J.G. Wentworth. It's your money and you need it now. That's just my thought, Some of the AI vocalist stuff is interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's been Vocaloid type stuff. That's not quite AI. I'm sure some of it is using AI now, but that is really interesting as well. That is a place where it becomes more of a tool. If you're a producer and you want a top line vocal on your track, if there's an AI tool that can help you do that, boom, that's a tool. And here you have the crux of the problem. You can end up with a really cool tech product that doesn't really solve a problem. This is what happens when you inject way too much money into a sector like AI. They start making stuff that nobody wants and nobody cares about. If I want something that sounds like a folk song and has a clever lyric, I've already got all I can eat on Spotify, right? There's no scarcity there. Exactly. You're not making anything new on music. And this is actually a very important point for artists too. You follow your favorite artists maybe because you heard a song and you thought, oh, that song is great. But they didn't become your favorite artist after you heard that one good song, right? They became your favorite artist because you learned so much about them. You continued to listen to their music and you like their entire catalog. Then you learned a little bit about their biography, you know, where they grew up or what inspired their music. Then you went to their live show and had a really great experience. Then you bought a t-shirt and that t-shirt means something to you. This is why people have favorite artists. People do not have favorite artists because they made one single good song. A lot of factors other than just the music go into this artist being your favorite artist. That's why people with hopes of like making it big with an AI generated song, like it's not going to happen because you could get trending on TikTok with one good song that pops off generated by AI. Especially if it's funny, especially if it's a meme song. But you're not going to be anybody's favorite artist. We see that with non-AI music artists. We see musicians that generate and produce songs that are tailored specifically to the TikTok algorithm, right? And what happens? They go viral, they get 1 million followers, millions of views, and then what happens next year? You got no idea who these artists are. You don't even remember listening to them. I could tell you their name right now and you'd be like, who's that? Be like, oh, this artist was like so famous a year ago. It's like, were they really famous or did they just go viral? Sorry if I'm missing any questions, my friends. I'll ask. If you had a question, I kind of skipped over it and it's not related to what we're talking about right now. When we finish this article, I'll jump back in, do Q&A, and then we'll work with the sounds. So just hang tight. Let's chill. Let's talk about AI and all this stuff, and then I'll answer the normal questions. And good morning to you, Kat. Welcome to the stream. And then they go on to talk about ChatGPT. Part of the reason for ChatGPT's explosion, according to Anthony Demikin, co-founder of Toonie, is that it clearly solves a bunch of problems. It can edit text for you, help you code. Even so, a recent multi-country survey from the Reuters Institute noted that for ChatGPT, frequent use is rare. That's interesting. That's surprising to me. Many of those who say they have used generative AI have only used it once or twice. That's very interesting. I wonder how much of that comes down to it being new, so a bunch of people just try it and then bounce off. Because I feel like the people that I know that use ChatGPT, they use it on a regular basis. I don't know if anybody's in that boat here. One professor showed her class how she got a PhD using AI. Hey, why not? Schools are literally built so that the system can be gamed if you know how to use AI. That's a problem with schools. That's not a problem with AI. It's a problem with like your history teacher only cares that you can tell me the year that this war happened rather than you can tell me like the political and cultural state of the country before it went into a war. You know what I mean? That's a problem with school. It's not really based on understanding and comprehension. It's just based on memorizing trivia. That's for like all of school, not just music education, but very much so in music education. Within the subject of the survey, respondents who said they used generative AI for creating media, making audio was the 9th most popular task with 3% of people engaging in it. Wow. Ain't a good industry to be investing in, I would say, but I'm no Silicon Valley investor, so I'm just a dumb guy on YouTube. Don't trust me. I'm only looking at all of the facts and what people are saying who actually have tried it. Okay, so this is Michael Jacob, MJ, founder of Lemonade, a company developing creative AI for musicians. They have around 10,000 users. Michael asks, how many non-musicians actually wanted to create music before? I don't think it's true to say everyone, as tempting as it may be. It's definitely not. You all probably know people in your daily lives that like have zero interest in making music. You know what I have zero interest in? Sports. Playing sports, watching sports, buying anything related to sports. I have zero interest. You know what a bunch of my friends and like majority of people in America love? Sports. Everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? We can't just take these things as universal. So like you definitely have friends that do not care at all about making music. You might see a piano and be instinctively attracted to it and like go over and start playing it. You can have other friends that are not even interested. And of course, the biggest issue here, the uncertain regulatory climate almost certainly inhibits the spread of AI song-making tools as well. For now in the US, there are open questions, just open questions about the copyrightability of AI-generated tracks, potentially limiting their commercial value. Very, very interesting. There's also been cases of some of these generative platforms actually using... Like people will generate a song, but it's clear that it was trained on some copyright material. I'm telling you, Pandora's box has not even opened yet. Sony is starting to open it. That's where this article goes, but we've talked about that in the past. Sony has sent open letters to all of these AI companies being like, you do not have permission to use our stuff. And I think that is a signal. That's almost like sending a cease and desist. That's almost like them saying, looks like you're probably using our stuff. We're going to work on a way to prove that. So, are you surprised that I don't like sports because I'm from the New England area? Here's the thing. When my friends are watching sports, whether that's hockey, we took my dad to a hockey game over the holidays, to the Bruins game. I'm definitely down for a party. You know what I mean? Super Bowl party, playoff game, Celtics, the hype of all that. I am down for the hype. I'm down to get excited with everybody, my friends, my family, whatever. But like on a regular day, I don't know. I'm not keeping up with it. It is something I would like to keep up with. It's like a global event. A global event is exciting. Like everybody's talking about the same things, everybody kind of knows what's going on. That's the cool part of sports. But like I can't get into like the game and the players, maybe in my old age. Let's see what our friend from OpenAI, the CEO of Sam Altman, says about this. On the All In podcast, he said, let's say we paid 10,000 musicians to create a bunch of music just to make a great training set where the music model could learn everything about song structure and what makes a good catchy beat, he said. I was kind of posing that as a thought experiment to musicians, and they're like, well, I can't object to that on any principled basis at that. Thank you for speaking for us, Sam. And yet there's still something I don't like about it. No, I can definitely object. What did he say? I can't object to that on any principle basis point. It depends on the payment. First of all, if you're a musician and you get a gig, like let's say you get paid to do weddings and you're a guitar player. You get paid to do weddings, whatever. Now, what if they built a robot that was meant to play music at weddings? Wait, I'm describing DJs. Wait. No, but what if they built a robot that was going to perfectly replicate what you do as a guitar player hired for weddings? If the company said, we want to hire you to train this robot to replace your job, that is enough of a point to object to it on a principled basis. I think that's a pretty principled point to object to. On the other hand, YouTube right now has like this limited thing, this AI music creation thing for shorts, where you can generate music for your shorts. Some of my shorts have this music in it. But what it actually is it's licensed artists. So like it's Charlie XCX, I can generate a Charlie XCX song. Now, I don't know anything about the details of the licensing around that, but I assume that means that those artists are getting paid. So if you could develop a model, let's go back to the wedding musician analogy. If I was the wedding musician and I trained this robot, and now every time somebody books this robot, I get a royalty, that's no problem. They want to hire the TAETRO robot to go play at their wedding. That makes sense. But that's not what they're talking about here, obviously. Obviously. I think the main point of this article is correct, where it's just like, this is such a niche thing. It's not the same thing as ChatGPT. Anybody could use ChatGPT. My mom could use ChatGPT and be like, can you generate a crochet pattern or whatever for this? And it still doesn't work that well, but there's at least a use case. I could use ChatGPT, organize my life. Like, I have all these things to do this week. Can you put them in priority order or something like that? Any person could do that. Not everybody's like, let me generate some music via AI. Especially if you're a musician, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a musician, like, I like making music, so why am I going to replace the thing that I like? It's like if sports again, like if you like playing basketball and they built a robot that can play basketball for you, nobody wants that. You're like, no. I like to play basketball. I don't need a robot to replace that. When you start breaking it down to some very common sense examples, it becomes very clear that some of these ideas these tech founders have are so fucking stupid. That's what it comes down to. We're all talking about how artists are screwed because that's a dramatic story. No, we're talking about how this guy, who is this? Dimikin. We're all talking about how artists are screwed because that's a dramatic story. Are we talking about it because it's a dramatic story, chat? Or are we talking about it because that's really important for culture in our society? I'm thinking we're talking about it because it's really important, not just because of the drama of it. To me, what's more likely is these tools just get integrated into the existing ecosystem and people start using it as a source for materials like Splice, which provides artists and producers. Yeah, that's fine, but that's not what you're doing. You're doing AI music generation. TAETRO bots incoming. Yeah, how do you guys know I'm not AI right now? How do you guys know I didn't take all my YouTube videos over the years, train an AI, both like a video generating AI and a language model, to just be me? How do you know I didn't do that? Sometimes they are not interested because they have not tried it. If you introduce people to instruments, some will catch on. I agree with this, definitely. Some people you can't know what you're not interested in before you can't know if you're interested in something necessarily before you've given it a try. And some people have really transformative experience where they don't think they're interested in music. They try an instrument or they try making music for the first time and they're like, wait, I really like this. But AI music generation is not going to do that for people. They're going to get like instant satisfaction, not from the music creation process, but from like typing a few things, I guess. Whereas if you sit here with a synth, like we're about to do, and you make some noise and you make some sound with these synths and you just do some experimenting, that's going to send you down a rabbit hole of like, wait, what can I do with these things? Can I do more? How would I do this? How would I do that? Like I said, AI music generation, that is just empty calories, I think. I really do think it's that. So, of course, AI music being used for tools for things, totally agree with. Make my life easier. Text-based, if I could be in Ableton Live and be like, add a sidechain compressor with signal from the kick to tracks 5, 7, and 9, if I could just type that in rather than doing that, that would be fantastic. That would be a dream. But nobody's like thinking about that because it's not sexy. They can't sell it to everybody. But what they're going to figure out is they can't sell generative music stuff to everybody anyway. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Come to me, Silicon Valley investors. If you want some like actual consulting from people who know what they're talking about, feel free. Feel free to call me. Happy to take your money. Instead of you investing your money into a dumb thing, talk to me and pay me your money and I'll tell you a smart thing to do with it. Yes, me and Hatsune Miku are chilling, big chilling. All right, y'all, we're going to transition into music making, but I did say I would answer some questions before we transitioned into that. So if you have any lingering questions, please type them in chat now, and I will do my best to answer them. Seems like the target demographic of fully generated AI music would be like a small business making videos that need some background music or something. Yeah, but the problem there, Josh, is that there are tons of free What's easier? Consider this. What's easier for the small business? They go use an existing stock music library that's probably already free, where they just pick a song, they type in a mood and they pick a song, or they have to sit there with this AI music generation model and figure out how to get the sound that they want. I feel like it's way easier to just choose from a bunch of pre-existing music. Now, what could actually solve a problem? This would replace the musicians, but probably a better business model for these companies would be to do just that, to use their AI models to generate good stock music and then sell and then have that available as a library. That way they can save money on overhead. They don't have to pay the musicians to supply the library. They don't have to worry about rights or anything. But again, that's kind of like, at that point, it becomes ethically dubious, I would say. Cody Free or Code Free says, hi, I'm into music production since not that long, and using the Machine Mark III, Lumi, and Orwa. Sounds like you got a nice little setup there, my friend. Happy music making. A friend of mine works in the film and video game industry. They have fired many people, replaced by AI. So, yeah. And that's obviously a bad thing because we do not have structures in place to make sure people can live healthy, prosperous lives despite their situation with labor, you know? Like basically your life and your prosperity is tied to how much labor value you can create. And unfortunately, or fortunately, technological innovation continues to improve and continues to be able to replace jobs. So, shouldn't we as smart people in society figure out a way where people's prosperity isn't tied to their, their labor? Shouldn't we figure that out? The worst thing, it was Xbox. Yeah, Xbox just went through a ton of closures. And you know what's crazy about the Xbox studio closures? This is a little bit of a tangent, but some of those games were fantastic. Some of the game studios that they shuttered, the people that they fired, were making some pretty popular games like Hi-Fi Rush, which is a very popular game, but it just didn't fit into their mold of being like a mega popular game, you know? Like a quadruple A game. Question, without music theory, can I still make nice beats? I have some tracks ready, but too shy to put them somewhere. And then Code Free says, I have the ideas, I put them down, but not that happy. Well, if you're not that happy with the music that you're making and you don't have much music theory knowledge, you should probably learn some music theory, some basics of music theory. Did you know that I have a whole beginner series here on this channel? Did you know that, Code Free? I'll link it for you right now in the chat. I promise it's not boring. I promise it's the thing that you need. How do I... Linking a playlist on YouTube is like way too many clicks. Here you go. I'm putting it in chat now, my friend. Anybody that needs to know music theory, grab that series. 6 episodes. I've been also brainstorming some additional episodes for that. So stay tuned. Yeah, started to watch some days ago. Problem is I don't use Ableton, but mostly Machine 2. You don't need to use Ableton to watch that series, so you can just completely ignore the fact that I'm using Ableton Live. Don't worry about that. It's not the Ableton Live for Beginner series. It's a music theory series. I think it's wrong to replace people with AI. AI should just be tools to aid people. Well, the one thing that I know, old gamer, is that train has left the station. If a technological innovation comes along that can replace a human's labor, if it's in the interest of capital, people will do it. So what is a solution for that? Also, let's say like, oh, I own a car plant, like a car, I'm a car manufacturer. I own a plant. I got a bunch of these robots that can make cars way faster than humans. I shouldn't really have to hinder my business, my output of the cars that I can make, simply because I'll be replacing human labor with robots. However, we do need to account for that, like as a society and as a culture. So there should be some type of system where people are being, where everybody is enjoying the fruits of technological innovation, not just a singular capital owner, because it replaces labor. And if we want to live in a capitalist society where everybody's prosperity is tied to labor, then we do actually have to legislate and say you can't use robots or AI to replace jobs. No jobs can be replaced by technology. But I think that's kind of a silly way to progress into the future. I think instead we should say, sure, AI and robots and technology innovation can replace workers, but we're going to shift from people depending on labor to live a healthy, happy life. And we're going to shift into a better system where people actually don't have to work the majority of their lives just to enjoy some simple pleasures in life. Except for the lobbying core that will influence politicians. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. Let's not go too deep into that. Yeah, basically, that has to just be made illegal, of course. But way too much money to be made for that to be illegal. Great. Additional episodes for Music Theory. Yes, Story Joe. And if you have any suggestions for additional chapters for the Music Theory series, please let me know. To be honest, I do everything with AI. Insomnia and anxiety. Exactly. Accent Noir says, AI adoption comes to one thing, line go up. Yes. But not for the music generation companies, apparently. All right, y'all. Should we make some music now? Should we not be getting into such a heavy topic on a Monday? Why don't we make some music with this little setup that I got here? Is everybody kind of hip to what gear we've got going on here? I do think I put the links in the description. Did I make that up? I might have forgot to put the hologram pedal in the description. Is the Minilab 3 your favorite Mini? How the keys feel? I'm considering getting one like tomorrow. Well, old gamer, yes, it is one of my favorites. I am, however, publishing a video later this week about why it's one of my favorites, but also some criticisms. So don't let me hold you back from picking up a MIDI controller. But I just want to let you know that I do have that video coming out sometime later this week. And let's turn the pedal off so I can get an actual sound out of this thing. Turn that LFO down. I don't know, any other Minilab users in the chat? Or alternative keyboard users? I'm just going to tweak the synth here. So right now, if you don't know what's going on with the tech, this is the Minilab 3. It's a MIDI controller. Stress this again, it's a MIDI controller. It doesn't make sound on its own. The sound that you're hearing is from my Roland S1. This is a little synthesizer. You can see that red cable. There's a MIDI cable that connects the Minilab 3 to the S1, which means I can play notes. I can arpeggiate notes. Let me get this going a little bit. Oh, I got the ARP on. I'm going to turn hold on. And I'm just going to tweak this sound a little bit and get us to a little more of a simple sound. The more I play with this thing, the more I love it. And I still haven't done anything with the sequencer on this thing. beautiful sound that we have here. So yes, Minilab controlling the S1. I've been having a lot of fun with this little combo here. Shoya says, is the Minilab 3 worth it? Definitely, I think so. It's about $109. I do have links in the description are affiliate links. So if you are thinking about picking up some gear today, you can support the channel by using those affiliate links. Or if you just want to know more about these products, you can use those links. No additional cost to you. I love this. Well, yeah, publishing a video later this week on the Minilab in my review after having it for 2 years. So if you are making a decision at the moment, stay tuned. Old Gamer has the Native Instruments M32 and the Novation Launch Key 49. Those are 2 good controllers. Show you still on the Minilab 2. I would say this is a good upgrade from the Minilab 2. It's also a lot lighter. So if travel is important to you, there's that. Dustin is a Minilab 3 user. Excellent, excellent. 25 keys is pretty limiting. I would say no, that's not really true. If you do want to play full piano pieces, sure, but I think 25 keys, it really depends on your use case. But as you can see here, I could play, let me turn the ARP off actually. ARP off. If I want to play these chords, so I think that is, I don't know, there's like this myth always that like 25 keys is too small, but I promise if you're just sitting there writing melodies, writing chord progressions, writing bass lines individually, 25 keys is enough. 37 keys is a really great form factor too, but there's like a myth that 25 keys is prohibitive, which is not. Nice, let's make that a chord actually. Chord mode on. Let's learn the chord. So that's the chord mode. And now I'm going to put that on hold. And then I'm going to turn the ARP back on. Now we're ARPing through that. Some Minecraft vibes going on. I think I need to get into Minecraft because people have said that since I started this channel. People have a very good sense of what Minecraft music is, I guess. Is there a specific composer from Minecraft? I guess I could definitely look this up, but I'm curious to know like what that reference point is for people. I have some friends that play Minecraft, so maybe I can ask them for a little bit of a tour. There's a Minecraft playlist on Spotify. That's interesting. I need to check it out. I'm just changing. I'm going to change the note order. Where is the note order? Ah, the mode. I'm going to change it to random so we get a little bit of an interesting sequence here. Okay, so the other part of the tech here that is making this even more fun. So obviously all this beautiful sound that you're hearing coming from the Roland S1, which has this really impressive reverb on it. Do y'all hear that? But now The reverb isn't on the microcosm. No, I haven't even engaged the microcosm yet. So here is the Roland S1 with no delay, no reverb. That's all still the S1. Yes, beta run. All still the S1. We haven't turned on the microcosm. But that's where I'm going next. So this is an effects pedal. So MIDI notes are going to the Roland S1. The sound of the Roland S1, the output, is this cable here. Mix out from the Roland S1. Going in stereo to the microcosm. The microcosm's going to the computer, my audio interface. So now we can tell when the microcosm is on because I'm going to push this button in the middle and these lights are going to light up here. So now the microcosm is on, but you're not hearing any change of the effect because my mix knob is turned all the way down. Let's start bringing it up and hear how we can transform the sound. I'm on the tunnel granules mode with no reverb on currently. If I turn that all the way up, we can hear exactly what's happening to the sound. And I had a filter, so here's the filter. So now I can change modes on the microcosm to get a different kind of sound. So here's a haze preset sound. Now I can pull the mix back so we get both. Now there's a space knob on the microcosm as well. That's going to give me reverb. So all that reverb now is coming from the microcosm. I'm going to feed more volume into the microcosm. But you can really hear the difference between space being turned up and space being turned down. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Okay, so I know some people are just tuning in or whatever, and we've had some good questions. Oh, well, this is funny. Toby says, I'd like to hire that microcosm for a month, please. Oh, the microcosm is such a good investment. Especially if you're like in an inspiration block or something, the microcosm can go a long way in transforming your sounds. You're back, Kayla. Kayla, yes, we're just trying out this setup, Minilab, controlling the Roland S1 in the microcosm. And let's see. John, John asks a really good question and says, what's a good, reasonably inexpensive synth I can get to use with the Minilab 3 just to dip my toes in this new hobby? You're looking at it, John. I think, now you can all correct me if I'm wrong, but a relatively inexpensive synth is indeed the Roland S1. I think this is a very good entry level, but it's about $200. This synth is about $200. I don't know how many other synths there are out there that are as powerful and that have as good quality of a sound for under $200. I think $200 is a good price for a budget little synth, and they pair extremely well together. And these come with this is a family of synths too. So Manolise actually says, I would also suggest the J6. The J6 is fine, but it's more of like a straight up chord synth. That's like it has a specific job it's trying to do. Still a beautiful sounding synth, but if your plan is to pair it with a Minilab, then you probably don't need that. Korg is under 150. What Korg synth would you suggest? What's a good suggestion for a synth there? Old Gamer says, I just checked and the Microcosm costs more than the Minilab. Yes, my friends, remember what we said before. The Minilab is just a controller. From the 3 pieces of gear you're seeing on this desk right now, the Minilab is the cheapest thing. The Minilab is like $109. Followed by the S1, which is about $200. Followed by the Microcosm. Let me check it out. Hologram Microcosm. Yes, my friends, I hope you're sitting down. The Microcosm costs $459. So just to put everybody's expectations here in check, the most expensive thing by far is the Microcosm, but you have to decide for yourself whether or not the sound that you can get out of it is, of value to you. To me, this is the reason that this pedal is here on my desk, because it's so just quickly get a cool sound out of it. Dustin McAdams says the Micro Freak was his first synth, worth the extra money. I feel like the Micro Freak is not necessarily beginner friendly at all, but I could be wrong on that. Is there a Microcosm plugin? Not a specific Microcosm plugin, but a lot of the effects in the Microcosm are like granular effects. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, look up a granular effects plugin. They call it a pedal. I thought it was something you press with your feet. Yeah, it is. These little switches here, these are like pedal switches. So you could put this on the floor and use it with your feet. But I found that a lot of people are now pushing pedals beyond just like the guitar general usage. Another cool thing about the Microcosm is I can click this button here and watch these lights, chat. See, the lights are going forward there, and then when I press it again, the lights are going backwards. That's indicating that the effects are going to be either forward or in reverse. So I've just switched to in reverse. So these sounds, these granules that we hear, are all reversed. So instead of having the ARP play, let's just play a single chord. It's playing in reverse. Let me try a different preset. I'm going to turn chord mode off. Oh, I gotta turn this pitch LFO. Ooh. Now, I'm going to turn the microcosm off because that is completely the S1 doing that now. Let's go down. Getting a little funny sound here. That little glide down. Glide up, I should say. And back down. Yo, but chat, tell me, who's an S1 aficionado in here? How do I actually turn that pitch LFO off? Because that's not something I always want, and I thought I knew how to turn it off. I thought I was able to change that with the LFO, but I'm not seeing it now. Let's go. What's up, Rico? Thanks for joining us here today. Yes, Stranger Things vibes. Forever now, a generation has been taught that a major 7 chord is Stranger Things vibes. That is our collective culture touch point for a downward arpeggiated, no, up and down, this pattern. I want to turn off this pitch wave situation. The Zoom MS770 CDR, I would not compare that effects pedal to the Microcosm. They're very different pedals. But yeah, if you are just looking for an interesting effects pedal, you don't have to get the Microcosm by any means. But there's a reason you see a lot of, especially ambient artists and people doing that kind of thing, using this pedal. And also the new one, the Chroma console. Just reset it and forget it. I don't think it works like that. Oh, it does work like that. I actually don't know how I did that, because the LFO rate was turned down and the LFO was turned down. Yeah, I would say even in today with the Chroma console pedal, you can probably get pretty much the same effects that the Microcosm has. Don't quote me on that. But the Chroma console looks like a more robust version of the Microcosm. Yeah, I love this little setup. Yeah, for sure. If you want to start getting into pedals, there's way cheaper ways than the Microcosm. You could just get a singular effect pedal, like a cool reverb or something. They make all kinds of timing pedals. I've got that Red Panda. Shoot, I forgot what the name of the pedal was called, but you can, like, audio coming in, you can time shift it in real time, which is very, very cool. Chroma's $3.99. Hey, my friend, they gotta manufacture this product. They gotta develop it. They gotta pay their staff, and they make a beloved product. So let's teach this chord. Boom. let's arpeggiate that. I gotta be in this mode. Basically, I could just do this and walk away. And be like, okay, y'all, ambient stream. Ambient stream. That is ambient. Oh God. Oh God. Slower time division on the arpeggiator. Bring the space down. This is why I try hard to stay away from your videos. You're burning holes in my pocket. Everything you do is just plain awesome. Thank you for those kind words. I hope instead of avoiding my videos and feeling like this feeling inspired to go buy something, just use it as inspiration to think about the gear and the things that you have, even if you just have software. What can you do with what you already have? That's what you should take away. Sometimes I watch videos, I'm just like you all. I watch videos and I'm like, damn, I want that piece of gear. Then other times I watch videos, a performance or whatever, and I say, well, you know what? Actually, I can recreate that with the gear that I have. That's very important discipline to build up. If you watch a video or if you see a musician doing something and it's inspiring, instead of immediately being like, oh, let me recreate their setup, let me buy a bunch of gear so I can do exactly what they're doing, try to think about, like, how can I do something similar to what they're doing with the gear that I already have? Your bank account will thank you. Have you used the KO2 yet? What are your thoughts? I have the KO2. I've used it a little bit. I am just sort of like trying to simplify my life at the moment, so I haven't learned it. I could go a million directions. I mean, I got this S1 and I'm having a lot of fun with it, so. new gear comes in and I gotta make decisions about where I want to spend my time. You know what I mean? But interesting. Toby says not happy with the KO2. Interesting. You wanted the stands from the sponsor but couldn't find them in the UK? Do they not ship to the UK? I think they probably should. You should double check that. The lack of good song mode made me want to sell it. Oh, interesting. John, what's the message that you get when you're running Analog Lab 5? Analog cases, Accent Noir. Look up analog cases. And then the stands are called XTS stands. But if you use the link from one of my videos, there's a 10% off coupon there involved with that. This is a nice little setup here for doing sampling, making some interesting sounds, writing some melodies and things like that. I think this is a nice little ambient setup. I should put it in a little box and I think what's missing from this? Obviously I could add drums. Yeah, the one thing I am getting hung up on, I don't know if you can see this over here. So speaking of analog cases, this is the Unison case. This is the performance case. Trying to build the setup, but then I've got their new stand. They've got an XTS performance stand, but basically this surface, this play surface, it's not actually a stand, it's just the surface, and it's got holes in it where you can run your cables, and it fits on any keyboard stand, this kind of stand. So that's working out well, but I'm trying to figure out ways I can put all this gear together and make a cohesive setup. So how could I get a full song going on these things? I think probably a 404, which could have drum loops and everything included in it, would be the missing piece, possibly. This sounds like a little Nintendo nighttime winter, the sun is setting in Animal Crossing, you know what I mean? Like Harvest Moon, yes, exactly. All right, but we've been doing a lot of the hardware stuff for the moment. Let me switch over to Ableton Live for a moment, because one thing that I've been getting into, I just wanted to sit down. Chat, it's been a while since I literally sat down and just made some of these lo-fi beats. That's why I posted that video today. So one thing that I've been getting, one thing that brought me back to the Minilab in general is just diving back into Analog Lab. I was like, let me just browse some of Arturia sounds, because it's pretty much one of my favorite sound libraries. I don't know if you all have a favorite. Do you all, is somebody deep into the Native Instruments library, I wonder? Or do you like Analog Lab? Or whose sound environment, whose ecosystem do you like to be in the most? For me, I definitely think Analog Lab is becoming the one. And the whole thing about using the Minilab, I just have been revisiting it for like DAW control and everything. Oh, program. If I go to the DAW control, I can hold shift and scroll through my tracks. Go ahead and arm that track here. Turn chord mode off. So now I'm using this connected to the computer, obviously, and I have the hold button turned on. But what's cool about that is I can go to my program, go from DAW mode now to the Arturia mode. Now I can just be like browsing presets. No mouse required. But then the other thing I was getting into is these sound banks, which I hadn't really explored. You can, that's not what I wanted to do. I do still kind of like fight with the UI a little bit, but they've got a store of a bunch of sound banks. I'm not doing promo or anything, but some of them are free. That's what I want to draw your attention to mostly. There are free sound banks here. So if you're a little overwhelmed by, like if I go to the homepage, I'm like, oh, great, V collection, let me make some music. Oh, shoot. There's hundreds and hundreds of plugins here, and within each plugin there's hundreds and hundreds of presets. I would definitely recommend going sound banks and just going to the store, and you could find one that you like and that's paid, but I find that there are many free ones that you could start with. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this Inward Universe one, I believe, is free, and it's 150 presets. I have favorited some sounds here. But that's a really rich sound right there. So the beat that I posted today, the beat video, it started from working with this sample pack. Inward Universe is $29.99. Okay, I paid for it then, I guess. But listen to that beautiful pad. Accent Noir says, Usynth is really good and vital. Yes, Usynth is great. I am doing some work with UJam right now, actually, chat. I'm very excited about it because they have great plugins for sure. And I just finished up a whole video on Usynth, like how to work with Usynth and everything. I think they're a really cool company and they've been really nice to work with. Also, look, I really like Analog Lab. I love Analog Lab. I used Native Instrument plugins before, but when you try to use a Native Instruments plugin, I'm not trying to bash Native Instruments all day. But let's go to Native Instruments. I'll go ahead and bring up, no, not an audio effect. Let's bring up Complete Control, which I think is meant to be, it's equivalent to Analog Lab. This is like a hub for a bunch of different plugins. And it's also, you can get your Arturia plugins from within here as well. I just feel like, well, first of all, thank you for that loud sound. I feel like the file system gets messed up all the time, which could definitely be my fault. Let me open up Session Guitarist, for instance. First of all, if you want to just play the instrument, you have to choose the melody version of an instrument. Second of all, this load time. Third of all, like, this UI is super unintuitive. Like, first of all, we have the casing UI of the Complete Control, but then it's just like not the most inspiring UI, not the most intuitive UI, I would say. Still great sounding bass plugin though. It's a great sound, but I do feel like I have to wrestle with these freaking Native Instruments plugins all the time. So whatever. My point there being, Analog Lab is great, and I've really enjoyed working in the U-Synth or the U-Jam sort of work environment too. Because just to contrast that, okay, let me open up Virtual Bassist. Sorry, VB. Let me open up Virtual Bassist and show you how much better this UI looks. Look at this. Very sort of, first of all, more aesthetically pleasing. Second of all, very clear what each of these sections do. We also have the ability to switch from player to instrument, which is not a very intuitive process in Complete Control. On direct, so let's go ahead and switch that up. Go more of a neck plugin. Let's get the drive in there. Switch up the finisher. Let's go to Octaver. Plugin is also a little louder. And they've got the key switches and stuff too. But then you can also just rock a phrase. I gotta go up the octave. I wish UJam would build an interface like Contact. Don't say like Contact. I know what you mean, but don't say like Contact. Yeah, they're kind of working towards that, I think, because USynth has that, and I think USynth is one of their newer plugins. So if I open this up real quick, they have all the titles within one plugin. So USynth is one plugin, but all of the sounds that you might want are here. So I think they probably will eventually build to that with their virtual drummer, virtual bass, virtual guitar, etc. It's another good sound library too. My Contact crashes in Luna. Yeah, that's the other thing about native plugins is they're not very stable. Also, big issue is for years, anytime I've loaded up a third-party Contact library, like I have mood guitars or just, people make cool stuff. Auras by, who's that really good company? Slate and Ash? I hope that's correct. I can play it for a while and it works fine, but randomly at some point, a loud, crushing noise sound blasts through the speakers, and sustains until you turn it off. So for me, that makes using third-party Contact plugins just unusable. I cannot use them, unfortunately, because of that bug. And that bug happens both on my MacBook Pro and my MacBook Air. So I know it's not computer specific, I don't know what the issue is. It's crazy. Is it an ACO issue? No, because I'm on Mac. All right, what was I doing anyway? I was trying to make some cool sounds with the Analog Lab sounds. Let's browse through a couple more. Nope, this one. Why is it so strange that it's skipping that one? Find another one. Yeah, whatever. That I'm just trying to say I have a ton of freaking fun in that library. And let me show you all another library that I also used to build up that beat today, that I dropped today. Yangtze, I believe is the name. This is so the augmented series, which I feel like is a little bit slept on because it takes acoustic instruments and then makes them weird somehow. Listen to that. Gorgeous. So this is a traditional Chinese instrument library. But again, it's augmented. And as you change that morph knob on all these sounds, they become further and further away from their original counterpart. I gotta favorite that one. That is a good one right there. Need to find some online resources, ebook ideally, that explains this new world I just joined. So many choices. I need a strategy. To be honest, I think the two things are counterintuitive. Some online resources for this new world. I don't know that there's many ebooks that you're going to find. I think if you search the ebook world, you're going to be a little lost. But I think in general, this new world of music production, digital music production, plugins, hardware, in the box, out of the box, DAWs, I think it's not as complex as you think. And I think many people have this feeling, so it's natural. But I think what's ultimately happening is you're being marketed to from like 1,000 different directions. My point there is like everybody's trying to sell you the best plugin or the best MIDI controller or the best DAW. And if you can just right now understand that that's all bullshit and that's not real, then you will have a much easier time. So if you instead think about like from what your musical goals are, like, oh, I want to make beats like TAETRO. If you want to make beats like TAETRO, go to my YouTube channel and consume all of my content. If you want to make music like any other person, go Google their name and type in production tutorial or documentary, or find a podcast that they were on and just listen to everything they say about what tools they use and their approach. Instead of letting sort of like the marketing dictate what you end up getting, like, oh, I saw this ad for this synth, or I saw TAETRO use this MIDI controller, so I'm going to get this one. Instead of like letting that dictate what you do, just have a firm understanding of what you want to do, what your musical goals are, and then have a fundamental understanding of what these tools do and how they can help you accomplish that goal. It's not as complex as you think. Basically, you need a program to record your music. You don't even need, but you could get a few pieces of hardware, like a controller to control your software. You could get a synth if you're interested in hardware synths and you don't want to do too much in the computer. Like, it's very, very simple. And there's no best one of any of these. They all have strengths and weaknesses. So I would say get a couple tools and start making stuff. You never see like, a person that has like a garage workshop and they've got saws and they've got tools, they got a hammer. When they buy a hammer, they go and they buy a hammer and they build something with the hammer. They don't go online and Google the question, best hammer for building birdhouses, best hammer for building human houses, best hammer for blah, 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 blah. They just use the hammer that they bought. And I think we need to, as artists, have more of a craftsman mentality. You've got those tools, like use the tools that you have and stop Googling what tools would be better than your tools, because you can find endless Reddit threads. Also, just delete Reddit from your phone. If you have the Reddit app, delete it. If you go Reddit on your computer, set up like a parental control blocking for it on your internet. You can find so many people just on Reddit threads just saying the most non-productive stuff. It's so from an artist perspective, that's like one of the worst places you can be is on Reddit, unfortunately. And hopefully that's not offensive to anybody who's running like a nice, wholesome Reddit community, but that is something I have yet to see. Oh. What's great about this, John, you also want to understand the theory. Great. I've got the music theory series on this channel. But then you also say what all the knobs and dials do, what each value of each unit of hardware adds to. If you want to know what knobs and dials do and you want to go deep, all you need to do is just buy a piece of gear that you think looks cool or sounds cool, download the manual, and spend a weekend, a week, a month going through the manual page by page making stuff. If that's the part of this that you're really interested in, then I would definitely recommend you do that. That's what the manual is for. You don't that's the ebook you're looking for, actually. That's the ebook you're looking for. And you know what the best part about that is? You can download the manual for gear online that you don't even own. So if you're like, damn, I saw the S1 today and it looks good, let me go download the Roland S1 manual and just look at a picture of it and learn what every single knob and every single button does. You can do that before you buy anything. And I recommend that to anybody, because a lot of people make up like a story about what a piece of gear does, and then they buy it and they're like, oh, it doesn't do that. And it's like, yeah, that's because you made it up in your head that it does that. You never saw somebody do it in a video. You maybe saw like a promotional video that made your imagination run wild. But don't make up stories about the gear you're going to buy before you buy it. And the best way to do that is download the manual. And I'm not saying even read the manual front to back. I'm saying use Control F, Command F, and search for the thing that you think it does. And if it's not there in the manual, it doesn't do that thing that you imagine that it does. That's a very prevalent theme in my comments. People like buying a piece of gear and then coming to my comments saying, oh, but I bought this MIDI controller and like I can't make any sound with it. It's like, I think you didn't do enough research. Some of these presets are quite intense. You know what? I'm sending chords. How is that happening? What did I do? That's chord mode on. I need chord mode off. I don't know what I did. Reset Minilab. I had a feeling something was fishy when all of those presets had intervals. Great advice, just need to be careful of analysis paralysis. Yeah, I mean, I'm bouncing off of the comment that you said where you want to like have a deep understanding about something. You can find joy in doing that and going deep on a single piece of gear, or you can find joy in like the actual music making part. That's the part that I find much joy in. That's why I just unbox a piece of gear and then start using it. I don't know anything about it and I kind of back into learning about it. What's happening with the MIDI here? I need to load up a synth and see what did I do wrong. I'm getting intervals. Why? What did I do, chat? Is the ARP on? No. No. I'm going to unplug this. Something sending MIDI to my computer? Oh, it was something with the hardware MIDI cable being attached. I don't know why. Interesting. All right. Anyway, back to Yangtze. So the analysis paralysis thing is just you being honest with yourself about like, am I buying this piece of gear to just go deep with it and get really technical, or do I want to be making music? If you want to be making music, there is definitely a fine line between learning your instrument and just procrastinating like with the manual. And also, just so you know, chat, this goes to John and everybody, when I buy a new piece of gear, when I try something out, even when I try to put a bunch of pieces of gear together, I'm trying to make a beat just in a normal, conventional way, shit goes wrong and stuff doesn't work the way you expect it to. And you have to problem solve and figure out why. You have to figure out, is it a bug or is it me? So problem solving and frustrations are also a big part of this. I wrote the next Blackpink single. Ancient Portal. Piccolo Black says anything with awesome effects engines works for me. Yeah, that's another part of finding your way through this world, is you get to know like the kind of stuff you actually like. Like, are you into like really cool sample instruments? Are you like Piccolo Black and you want really cool effect engines? It's all part of the learning process. Cool thing is too, don't forget, you can sell your gear and you can buy gear used. Don't forget. You don't always got to buy everything new. And when something, don't feel the need to hold on to everything. You can also let some things go. Accent Noir says, I watched 5 reviews of the MPC-1 before I pulled the trigger, and I watched 10 tutorials this weekend to work out where everything was. That's the thing. Like, if you're buying gear, I think, for me, when I'm getting new gear, I know as much as I could possibly know before receiving that piece of gear. You know what I mean? Like, especially if I'm buying it. If I'm buying the gear, I know exactly what it's capable of. I might not know exactly how to do everything, but you better believe in the time between me clicking buy now and it arriving at my doorstep, I know what to do with it when I pull it out of the box, at a basic level at least. A lot of people just buy stuff, expect it to arrive at their door, and expect to be able to make like awesome music. That's really interesting to me when people go buy a MIDI keyboard and they've never made music before, and they literally get it and they go, oh. Like, that's the vibe I get in my comments sometimes. Which, that's totally fine. I'm glad they were inspired to go get something. But we definitely got to keep ourselves grounded in reality. I love this sound. I got to favorite this sound real quick. We're coming to the end here, though, chat. So if you have any final questions or final things you want to discuss, let me know in the chat. It's a little late in the stream here, so if some of you might have tuned in later, but today we talked about a little bit about AI music generation. We also made some sounds with this combo of gear here. And what else did we do? We did a lot more than that. We did a little chit chat at the beginning. You are definitely inspiring me to take it further. Yeah, keep going. Chat GPT is also good for advice. Yeah, you can use the Chat GPT to give you like a straight up, like logical kind of answer. It definitely can help you organize your thoughts. Slightly Wet. Oh, hello, Slightly Wet. I think I saw your post. Did you ask about the Discord? Yeah, so the Discord is available to channel members. You find the join link. It's not on mobile, so you have to be on desktop if you want to join. I wish they would change that because I think that's a big hindrance. I think most people watch on mobile. But yes, or you can probably open it in a browser. If you go to the link, the join link, if you go to my channel in your browser, like Chrome or something like that, you might see the join button. So yes, if you want to join Slightly Wet, I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. You can get into the Discord when you join. You just go on YouTube, go into Discord and link your YouTube account, and you'll automatically be in the server. When you sign up to become a member, all that info is on the page when you become a member. Please be aware that some of us are in different time zone. It's 7:46 p.m. here in Malta, Europe. Shout out to Malta, Europe, John. Yeah, I know some of y'all are at the end of your Monday. I'm just starting mine. I got the OP1 field. Love the recording concept. However, is it just me or does it lack functionality in some areas? The OP1 field is a niche instrument for sure. If you're looking for like a groove box experience where you're going to be able to just easily compose songs and things like that, that is not what you're getting with this. You are getting a device whose entire this device's entire like recording workflow is based off of tape recording, 4-track tape recording on that front. So if you are not down with the finickiness of that, it's probably not what this device is probably not for you. Now, I would say I don't use this much for that sort of traditional writing style. This is an instrument I can turn on at any moment in my studio, just flick the on button and immediately start making cool music. Yes, record a few ideas, use some sequencers. Cool effects. This is a very robust machine. I don't think it's missing features. I think there are features that they could add to improve it, but I think for this form factor, this is an amazing device. So just be careful. Hey, Slightly Wet has joined us at the Wanderers tier. Welcome to the Wanderers, Slightly Wet. Got a new member here. That gets you your name in the credits as well on the videos and stuff. Thank you for your support of the channel. Shout out to all my channel members. If you see the people with the trees next to their name in chat, those are all channel members. Slightly Wet just joined, so they've got the little just starter plant in a pot. But if you look at somebody like Piccolo Black, the tree is fully blossomed because they've been a member for so long. What's up, Sledgeman Guitar? And I also saw somebody asking if we can watch this later. Yes, you can watch this later. All of my past streams are on a playlist. Here, let me link that for you. First of all, you can find everything just by going to the channel. youtube.com/TAETRO. There's a live tab, a shorts tab, a videos tab, and a playlists tab. In the playlists tab, you will find a bunch of playlists, obviously. You will find the 2024 streams playlist. Oh God, that's us now. Or that's us on a different day. So anyway, if you go there, even if you can't find the stream, it'll be there. But I did talk to my YouTube partner manager person the other day who said I don't necessarily need to keep the streams unlisted. So what I might do is unlist them for a day if there's a new video and then put them back to public again the next day. But there's that playlist that y'all can bookmark. And if you're in the Discord, we have a channel called Latest Content, so you can always find stuff there. If you're like, oh, TAETRO streamed today, but I can't find it on YouTube, go to the Discord first and check Latest Content channel. Just like China, Indonesia has like hundreds of great sounding instruments. Yes, yes, yes. I believe, now forgive me if I'm wrong. I definitely, yes, I want to try as many instruments from as many cultures as possible. But so Bali is in Indonesia, I think I'm correct. And there's Balinese gamelan, right? I believe I have played or Javanese. I don't actually know what that word means. Maybe it's gamelan from Java. I believe I played both kinds, Javanese and Balinese gamelan. Very cool instruments, but that was actually a nice part of my college experiences. They had a good world music program. So I've played some gamelan instruments before. Awesome. Thanks for hanging, John. All right. And on that note, I've been talking here for 2 hours, 20 minutes. So we're going to call it a day. I think we are going to have a great week, chat. I hope you all do have a great week. I've got some short videos, some reels going up on Instagram, other posts and stuff, an announcement for a community event coming tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of a community event, stay tuned. Best way to keep in touch, Old Gamer just did it. Welcome, Old Gamer, to the members side of things. Wanderers, welcome to the Wanderers. You all are going to be able to connect with us over on Discord later. There's also free downloads for the members. So if you just became a member, check the community tab for free downloads. And then also check the membership, or maybe just the videos. There's members only videos that you can find now as well once you become a member. We're live every single Monday, so if you enjoyed this stream, don't forget to join us every Monday. Leave a like on the stream on your way out. Connect with me on Threads or on Instagram if you're on the other social medias in between streams. And please, if you haven't yet, go from this stream, directly from this stream. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Instead, go watch the video that I dropped today. It's about a 4-minute piece of music. For some of you who your day is ending, I think it'll be a nice ending to your day, a nice mood piece for the ending of your day. For those of you who are just starting your day, or it's coming on lunchtime or post-lunch afternoon, if you need that motivation to get through the rest of the day, this beat is for you. I think it's like a motivational, inspirational, lo-fi beat. All right, y'all. More videos to come soon. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.